Okay. Well, hi, everyone. It's really nice to see all of you. Those who I've met and those who I have yet to meet. It's great to see you. And I hope that everybody is staying safe and healthy and close to getting a vaccine, if not already vaccinated, which would be really exciting. So I'm Michelle Branch. I'm the board president of San Francisco Camerawork. And if you joined us tonight, you're here to learn more about the work of Hiroyo Kaneko. And hi, Hiroyo. It's really great to see you. Thanks for being here. Tonight, she's going to be in conversation with Ann Jastrab. Hey, Ann. And tonight's going to be a real community event. So, we're hoping that people will stay engaged. Tonight, we can see your faces. We're not in webinar mode on purpose. It's going to be a real community event where we'll hear from Hiroyo and Ann and meet some of the people who Hiroyo has worked with and collaborated with. And she's going to be sharing tonight from her first monograph called Appearance, which presents portraits of people who are in the act of singing, which is so interesting to me, and I can't wait to learn more about it. So she's going to speak about this work with Ann, who contributed an essay to Hiroyo's book. And the evening is going to include a special appearance or appearances from some of Hiroyo's subjects, one of whom is Chris Barnett. Hey, Chris, and who's going to be here. Oh, there he is, to reflect on his experience with the portrait process. And I have a feeling there are going to be some other special guests tonight too. Some of you might even be asked to perform and put on the spot. So don't go away, stay here, but it'll be really exciting. So before we begin, I want to welcome you and to begin with our land acknowledgement. And I'd like to address some of the current events in the US as we often do. So I would like to acknowledge the original inhabitants of this land on which many of us call home. We are called San Francisco Camerawork, and what is now San Francisco is on the stolen land of the Ohlone and Ramaytush peoples, to whom we owe a collective debt. And we have all directly benefited from being settlers on this land. And I am incredibly grateful. And I would love it if all of you who've joined us would let us know where you're coming from. The present name of the place and also the names of the people who first lived here and continue to live here. So just write us in the chat and let us know, where you're zooming in from. I also wanted to let you all know that a couple of weeks ago, the San Francisco board and staff of San Francisco Camerawork came together to draft a letter to our communities and to all of you really to acknowledge the anti-Asian hatred and bias that has been sweeping the country and to condemn it in the strongest terms. It's part of a larger epidemic of violence that's taken place in this country that we're seeing. What we wanted to let you know is that we are sharing resources where you can show your support and solidarity with Asian American and Pacific Island communities, which is really so important. And you can read that statement on our website and on our social media feeds. And I want to thank all of our Asian American and Pacific Islander friends who've been so supportive of San Francisco Camerawork over the years and over this last year, especially as we've been working to be more inclusive of all different communities. I really appreciate your support in particular. Everyone is welcome at Camerawork, no matter what your background is, and hatred has no place here. And so many of our friends from the Asian American Pacific Islander community have been incredibly helpful to us, as we've talked about anti-Blackness and other types of racial discrimination. So again, I want to thank you and welcome everybody. And we have resources on our website where you can learn more. So I also today, as we pivot to talking about Hiroyo's work today, I'm pleased to introduce Ann Jastrab, who is then going to introduce Hiroyo. So Ann's going to lead tonight's talk and conversation with Hiroyo. And I know many of you know and love Ann and have for many years. Ann, first of all, what's most important is she's a member of the board of Camerawork. Even though I know that she has many other roles. She's on the board of Camerawork and has been on the board with us for, I want to say 2.5 years, something like that, maybe a little bit longer. But many of you also know Ann as the executive director at the Center for Photographic Art called CPA, which is down in Carmel, California. And CPA evolved out of its predecessor, which was Friends of Photography. Now, before Ann joined CPA, she was the gallery manager at Scott Nichols in San Francisco, where she incorporated contemporary artists with many of the living legends of photography, like really living legends. And many of you know and love her because she was the gallery director at Rayco Photo Center in San Francisco for 10 years. So Ann, I'm really glad that you're on our board, and I'm really glad that you're here tonight to talk with Hiroyo. So I will hand it over to you. Please take it away.
Great, thank you, Michelle. Thanks for letting me stay on the board of Camerawork. We have a little inside joke that I'm the worst board member ever, but I do love Camerawork. And I'm going to introduce Hiroyo, and I'm going to hold up her beautiful book. It's going to be a little teaser here. But I wanted to say to everybody, thanks for joining us for this conversation with Hiroyo and some of her collaborators who I know are here. And thank you, Hiroyo and Chris and Jesse and Ari and Moema and Mia's mom, Meg, for being here. I think there might be some other performers in the audience too. I also want to thank SF Camerawork for inviting me to be part of tonight's programming. And I think everyone's muted, so we won't worry about that. But tonight, Hiroyo is going to introduce you to her photographs from her long-term portrait project, Appearance, which depicts people while they're singing, a pure form of self-expression. I was honored when Hiroyo asked me to write an essay for the book. I'm humbled, really. And I was hoping to read the essay to you tonight to begin, because I think I'm much more eloquent in writing. And I know, Chris, you said you saw the yellow book. I'm like, I have the red book, which I hope I don't know if it's special or not, but anyway, so I was going to read my essay and as well as encourage you to buy a copy of the book, which is finally available. I know the book came out right as the pandemic was breaking and there was no way to get it because the books were stuck in Japan. That was really tough. So Christina is going to make sure to share where you can get the book in the chat, right? Okay, good. All right, so it's been a long time coming for this, but let me just give a little read, and then Hiroyo, this gives you all this time to add in those extra pictures of people in your slideshow. Just kidding. So my essay is called Lyrical Observation. And I first saw Hiroyo Kaneko's photographs when I was curating a show called 18 Months, taking the pulse of Bay Area photography for San Francisco City Hall way back in 2008. Hers were sublime images of people picnicking on blue tarps under pink and white cherry trees exploding with spring blossoms, kind of like right outside my window right now. The other two curators and I agreed that Hiroyo's photographs should be the ones to represent the exhibition, and we selected them for the postcard and other promotional materials. I also had the luck that after Hiroyo had finished graduate school at the San Francisco Art Institute in 2005, she started printing at Reiko Photo Center, where I was the gallery director for more than a decade. I would see Hiroyo regularly pulling mural-sized chromogenic prints out of our rickety Colex RA4 machine and wonder how she managed to make such beautiful prints and such perfect prints on that machine. Anyone that's worked on that machine knows it was pure magic. When a few years later, Hiroyo asked if she could photograph my young son singing, I'd seen enough of her work and her various projects to agree immediately. But this wouldn't be like her other projects. This wasn't the slowness of a view camera on a tripod or a scene with few moving parts. She had a handheld medium format camera, at first a square format camera, and later a seldom seen Fuji 4x8. I watched as she tried to get my son to sing, but his shyness won. He would not make an appearance for her. But my other friends' children would. One of them is in the final edit of this book. Mia, standing backlit in the golden California sunset in my backyard, singing the song Bubbly as she self-consciously holds the edges of her skirt. I see Mia leaving childhood behind in this moment. For me, she is not just transitioning into adolescence, she is the transitional image between the adults and the children in Hiroyo's project. I believe it was around this time that adults were asked to perform, and miraculously, they all said yes. I recognized some of her subjects, people I'd known for years, suddenly shirtless and singing in front of a stranger, or sitting, eyes closed, releasing the music from their souls, seemingly unaware of Hiroyo and her film camera, documenting them as they belted out tunes from their hearts. Perhaps that's what is happening here, a letting go, an abandonment, a release, a forgetting, a moment, both personal and private, being witnessed in public by an outsider. But here is the thing, Hiroyo isn't an outsider. She is struggling with getting what's inside of her out too, to find the words and language on the other side of the world. Since Hiroyo's native language is Japanese, sometimes expressing herself in English isn't so simple. I imagine she longs to just burst forth in words, whether it's lyrics or just a soliloquy. When I look at her pictures, I'm still not sure how she is so convincing or how her subjects reveal themselves to her so readily. Trust, understanding, a willingness. I imagine Hiroyo asking various people from all walks of life in all parts of the world to pose for her. What does she say? I don't know, but I do know that they answer yes. Of course, I'll meet you in the alley and sing my heart out for you. Of course, I'll meet you on the city street and perform my favorite song for you. Of course, I'll let you into my home and pour out the emotions of my life for you to document. They meet her anywhere and give themselves up to her. The wild gestures, the forlorn looks, the intense staring, the clenched fists, the open hands, sometimes looking like small birds taking flight, the mouths open, the mouths forming words, the mouths inhaling, the mouths releasing the sounds. And though we can't hear the music, we can see the expressions, the concentration, the self-abandon, the ferocity, the sadness, the joy, the awkwardness, the exaltation. Appearance takes me through the whole gamut of emotion and then leaves me in silence after the final note. I love that this project is visual instead of audible, that I am left to imagine what each person sounds like through their tempest of emotions, from devastation to rapture. I've been watching Hiroyo Kaneko make this work and pursue this project since its inception, and I've witnessed not just its evolution, but her perseverance. Hers is a different kind of recording, one with a voice that is much louder than the actual notes. So, without further ado, Hiroyo, take it away. I think you're muted though.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction. And thank you for your such a beautiful essay about my work. Every time I read this essay so many times, but every time I was so moved. And yeah, it's really something for me. It's very important relationship with Anne. And okay, so, and then thank you for coming. Thank you everyone for coming, this event tonight. So I'm Hiroyo Kaneko, and I think let me share my screen. I think, okay, good. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. Everyone can see. Okay.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, looks good.
Good. Okay. So yeah, again, my name is Hiroyo Kaneko, and I'm from Japan and living in Auckland. And I'm a photographer, mostly working on my own project. And I also teach at the Anza Community College in Cupertino. Tonight, I will talk about my series Appearance, which was published as my first monograph last year from Seigensha. Seigensha is a Japanese publisher based in Kyoto. So, and then my hometown, my parents' place is in Tokyo. So I have to go down there a couple of times for having meetings since 2018. But coincidentally, my parents started to have some health issues because of their ages. And then I needed to take care of them more than I used to do. So I took advantage of those returning home period and took one-day trip to Kyoto for those meetings. I started Appearance 2010. It was a weird period for me. In 2009, I received Santa Fe Award for my previous series, Sentimental Education, which brought me a big chance to explore my career and my future project. And in the summer of the same year, I had an exhibition in Nagasaki which was my long time dream because I had a series about Nagasaki dealing with their unique landscapes and atomic bomb survivors. That was my first major photo project, and I had been eager to show the work there in Nagasaki. And then finally it happened. So 2009 was very exciting and a busy year, at least until the summer. But somehow it seems like those events gave me too much pressure or stress. So during that expedition, I suffered from meningitis, which caused me frequent dizziness and other side effects. So somehow these things let me pay attention to children a lot. Perhaps because I became so weak, I envied their energy or sympathized, with their vulnerability. My eye was captivated by their figures, and I wanted to photograph them running, playing, moving around. But of course, it's difficult. If I did it, without any permission, then, I would be warned or even arrested. So I was thinking about what way it would be possible. Then I heard that musician friend of mine was teaching children to sing. And then all of a sudden I thought, this is it. I wanted to photograph children who sing. As my condition got better, I returned to the Bay Area where I started to photograph children singing. So this is one of my earlier photograph of this series, taken 2010. For children, it was quite hard to get started because at the beginning I tried to kind of approach to schools or after school programs, but then it wasn't realistic because they should have asked, we should have asked permission from all of their parents, which would be a lot of extra work. I didn't mind doing that, but those people who organized the school programs, they wouldn't accept that. So instead, I asked around my friends and acquaintances if they knew anyone who had children and was interested in my project. And then little by little, I became able to photo shoot over a couple of years. This is Mia, Meg's daughter, Ann's friend's daughter. Oh, no, wait, sorry. This is different. This is Emiliano, sorry, singing a song he improvised. He is my apartment manager's son. And she is Mia. With this picture, that everyone heard that beautiful, beautiful description writing by Anne. Yeah, and then that song Bubbly was so right to her, her situation. It's just a transition of, the child to the teenager. So it was really beautiful moment. And Lillian, I just fell in love with this girl at the gallery as I studied this series. And Roxanne. And several years later, I happened to see a young man singing a song in an art gallery. He was just sitting on a bench and singing without any accompaniment. So he seemed to be unguarded, but creating solemn atmosphere, and his performance was totally magical. In that moment, I felt that there was something that people had in common when they were singing, whether they were children or adults. And I began to photograph adult singing. Clarence singing Rejoice in the Lamb, one of the famous hymn. Akiyoshi is a monk of in a Buddhism temple in Tokyo. Christine singing a Spanish song. And this is Ari, one of the participants tonight. In the middle of the process, I changed the film format from the square to rectangle. I think that I was a little frustrated about how I should develop this series to be more something like my own project. Well, it is my project, but nobody asked me to do it anyway. So this is my project. But it's difficult to explain. I felt that the series of those square images like before, square images that I'd taken looked a little too static as a body of work, despite that each photo is about singing and playing. So it was actually Stuart Colgott, the owner of Reiko Photo Center, who suggested me to use 6x8 format instead of 6x6. And I jumped in his idea and started to using it. And I just loved it. 6x8 is unusual compared to like 6x7 or 6x9, but it was just right size for me because it takes in a good amount of the subject surroundings and creates good contrast with 6x6 when they are shown together. And so I continue taking picture of adult singing with 6x8 format. And Masha, this is Masha in Berkeley. Muema. Muema is, at the time, businessman and a photographer. He had just come to San Francisco after journeying from Nairobi to Paris and New York. Claudia, she is one of my students at the Anza College. And David, she's also introduced by Anne. He used to be printing at Reiko. And Dana, she was so generous and kind person to me. And Dr. Dream. Chris. I met Chris because I ordered a couple of times that Chris frame studio starring art in San Francisco. At the time, he had a studio in San Francisco, so I took him in front of the studio in a narrow alley in Soma. And this is Jessie. Jessie is also introduced by Anne, and I photographed him in front of his house in San Francisco. Towards the end of the project, I became more confident or clearer about what I was doing this for. The more people I meet, work together, the more I wanted to question about what is the difference between races, genders, ages, and colors of skin, where you live, what you do. All those things create who you are, but at the same time, it doesn't matter what of those you are in, for who you really are. Whoever you are, you accept my request and then appear to sing for me, expose such intimate moments vulnerability and strength through your voice and your appearance. By capturing the act of singing, I try to present both the uniqueness and commonality of my subject. Yeah. It's empty, but this is it, my slideshow. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Hiroyo.
Thank you. I hope everyone understands my description.
Oh, you did great. I'm going to stop your screen sharing, okay?
Okay.
Then we can see if everybody out there.
Yeah.
There's some applause.
Thank you.
That was just the right amount of a tease. So now they have to buy the book to see the rest of the pictures.
Yes.
So how, I know that Chris is here and Ari and Jesse and Moema. Did you want to ask, well, I always wanted, when I was starting to see the contact sheets that you were making at Reiko, I was like, everybody's a target now. It's like, just ask everybody, like, don't be shy anymore. Like every person you see, just ask them if they'll sing for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really interesting time period. I was so lucky, and then I was so enjoy the relationship with Anne. Every time I went to the Reiko for printing, and then she said, what about this person? What about him? And what about that?
Especially those openings with like 300 people, I'd be like, look at this. It's like a buffet.
So, yeah.
But so how did you, like, so with Chris, let's say, because how did you approach him? Did you just see him framing at Sterling and you were like, hey?
No, after working with him a couple of times, I just happened to meet him at Kala Art Institute. Maybe they have opening or something. And then we said like hi, and then I thought like maybe I should ask him. So yeah, and then I asked him. Yes. So everything is happening like this. I mean, I think except for introduction by Anne or some other people, I just meet somebody at the somebody's house or gallery opening or my workplace or where I volunteer, wherever, or my neighborhood in my apartment. If I feel like I want to take this person, I want to photograph this person, and I try to be brave and then say hi, and then I'm doing this and that, and then are you interested in being my model? So,
but
yeah.
Chris, how was the experience for you?
I was a little surprised when Hiroyo asked me to participate in this. And I think probably for a lot of us, on a good day, I can carry a tune, but sometimes, I've had too much coffee or, it's like, I feel like I don't have range if I'm singing in the car or something like that, but I'm not accustomed to singing in front of people. So I think there was certainly an immediate sense of vulnerability just at the idea of being photographed while singing. When we'd encountered each other, we knew who each other were, but I had never been asked to do anything like this before. So I just kind of thought, okay, this is a thing that's outside of your comfort zone. That's a good creative energy to step into. Plus, what's not to love about Hiroyo, and I wanted to support her and her project as an artist, so I, in the end, just took it as an honor to be asked to participate in this, and it was, and I think I wasn't sure what I wanted to sing, and I selected the song that I did. I think when we had our pre-meeting, I mentioned that it was just, it's a song that I like on an album that I like, it was probably in like music rotation at that time. And I thought, I'm going to do that one. I like that one, you know. Even though I'm self-conscious about the fact that I could never perform at the way that the band and, you know, the performers that first released that song, Neutral Milk Hotel, they're so great. You know, it was such a great conceptual album, you know. So just having that vulnerability and saying yes to something and stepping outside a comfort zone, but also with somebody who was really kind. And I knew, you know, I had no question that she would be respectful in how she approached, you know, doing this. And, you know, and she made it easy to do. And we had a little bit of communication about, you know, what the lighting was like. Our shop, now we're in West Oakland. I'm in our new incarnation over here. But, you know, for many years we were on Norfolk Street in San Francisco. And Hiroyo asked me about the lighting, what the light was like in the alley, and sort of how the light shifted during the time of day. And I went back and looked at our email exchange. That's why I remember this, you know, and kind of settled on a time of day based on the light that she was hoping to work with. And then, you know, when she came, it was very easy. In my memory, it wasn't more than like, you know, 20 minutes, you know, at most a half hour that we hung out in the alley and did it. So it was great. And then, you know, to sort of have almost forgotten about the experience, and then sort of getting word that the book was published and see myself featured in the book was, you know, was both a thrill and again, a huge honor. So yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great experience. You know, if anyone here, if Hiroyo ever asks you to sing for her, you should absolutely do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you practice that morning on your way to work? Did you gargle? Did you?
Probably gargled. You know, I wanted to remember. I wanted to make sure I remembered the lyrics. You know, it's like even for one person, it's easy to have stage fright and then like forget. You know, so. And then I just thought I have to just put myself into this, and I just did the best that I could in the moment.
And Hiroyo, how did you decide that Chris gets 2 pictures?
Yeah, there are actually, he is one of the few of my subject I put, you know, sequencing. And because, I don't know, because it was really beautiful. I mean, actually, you know, there are 2 pictures that I debating and couldn't select which one is better and which one is, you know, best. And then at some point you know, why not just choosing 2 of them together? And you know, I think it should work together. So that's how I decided to do that. Yeah.
And I know Moema's here and he had a question, so I'm going to throw him under the bus while he's here.
Absolutely. Hey, Hiroyo, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
Thanks for including me in the project. 2 quick questions. One, how did you know when the project was done? And 2, what was your biggest challenge in completing this project?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, maybe I should answer the second question first. Probably around 2017, I wrote a little bit, you know, hold on. You know, as a work progress, I was actually lost in those, you know, huge amount of images. I took about like 5 roles for each subject in average. So there's like 50 shots of each person. And I just struggled how I should select images out of, you know, those 30 to 50, 60 shots of each subject. And then I kept printing, editing, selecting, and then I was just stuck in this loop. Then one day, you know, I asked Ann that I'm lost. And she suggested me to make all contact sheets. You know, I have to confess, I have to admit that before that, I scanned all of the images, all of the negatives, and looking at them on my computer screen to edit and then select them. So, at that time, I've already had like more than 300 negatives, maybe 350 sheets of negatives. Then again, Stuart, Leico Photo Center owner, he gave me free papers for making these contact sheets. So, I decided to do this, and then I went to Leico every other day, and then, for a while, and then print all of them, and then show them to Ann and get advice. And there's another person who I trust in Japan, and then I also showed them to him, and I got advice, and then I re-edit based on my contact sheets and their advices. And then I kind of, re-edit again and again, and gradually getting to know what I was seeking for, what I wanted to do. So that's kind of, that period was the most challenging part. There are several, but I think they are kind of, like a breaking through point that. And then after this experience, it was like 17, and I made this book last year. So after that kind of, struggle, then I kind of becoming more clear and, know what I want to do. And then I just keep, shooting. And then I feel like I needed this kind of picture, or I needed to photograph this kind of person. I mean, it's not like something that I can control, but somehow I feel like I got more clear about who I wanted to take more, and then what kind of person I wanted to present. Then I can finish my project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a couple questions in the chat. I just didn't want to get too far away. One, actually, you answered a few technical questions, if I may. How many photos did you take of each person? Now we know. So many.
So many. Yes, so many.
And what did you use? Did you use a tripod or flash? And what speed film did you use?
I didn't use tripod, and then I didn't use flash except for 2 photos in this book. And speed is 400. So usually I shoot outside, but I think there are several pictures that taken indoors, and then one of them is like, well, yeah, there are 2 pictures that I use flash. If I can find. Oh yeah, I have this sequence. This I used flash. It's totally indoors. And then there's a reflection of the flash. And I don't think Ann wanted to include these pictures. I mean, yeah, but anyway, I wanted to include these pictures. Actually, this girl is the only person who actually don't know who she is, because I just happened to be there and then took pictures, and then I couldn't even ask her name and what song she sang. So yeah, this is kind of, very, one of my unusual cases. Yeah.
Ari, another one of your participants there, first picture in the book, he has a question, and that's, why singing?
Why singing?
Like, why take pictures of people singing? Is that the question, Ari?
Yes, I
Um,
have my own ideas, but
yeah,
I'd love to hear.
I think I talked about it. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, because I started this project with children, and then I was seeking how it is possible to capture children, you know, uh, how it is possible to capture children, you know, like characteristic of these small human beings. um, and then I mean, not like just go outside and then happen to those people, those children, and then take pictures and then asking, looking for the parents and then ask for the permission. Instead of those things, what I was really thinking, what would be the best way to do this idea, to realize this idea. And then my friend, a friend of mine who is a singer, musician, he told me that he is teaching, children to sing. And then I felt like that's the thing that I wanted to do. And then it's like my, yeah, it like sparked my idea. I think that that's it. That's the thing that I wanted to do.
Well, it's a great way to get a emotion out of people.
Yes.
So I love it. I wanted to share with everyone that I got to see Hiroyo's exhibition at the gallery run by the monk that you showed his photo, that was in Tokyo, and that was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, he came to that show. He happened to be in Tokyo at that time, so I invited him to be there. That was really awesome. Thank you.
There's one more question way up in the chat I don't want to lose, and that is, did your subjects choose their own settings? Or did you choose?
No, they chose. Yeah, I left my subject, what song they sang, and then where they wanted to do. Yeah.
And here's another question. How did you direct your subjects, or didn't you direct them at all? They look very natural as they performed.
Yeah, I didn't direct. I didn't direct them. I just, leave them. And then what I was doing is like just trying to, I try not to miss the moments that they show. Of course, I miss a lot of moments, I guess, but try not to. And then, yeah, just following their kind of emotional flow along with the song that they sing.
And I've got a quick question. How did you manage to get the book published? Did you like send a mock-up to different publishers, or like how did you meet your publisher?
Oh, that's a great question. I think that I think it was like 18, yeah, a couple of years ago. My friend, who is pretty well-known photographer, Japanese photographer called Miyako Ishiuchi, and she came to San Francisco. And then so we have an appointment to meet each other. And then she came with her gallery owner. And then her name is Aya. And so we met at that time. And then this gallery director was interested in my work. And then when I went back to Japan after that meetings, I visited her and then, show my work and then show this, project. And then she actually introduced this publisher. So it comes from this, just coincident meeting in San Francisco with my friend Miyako. And then she introduced me to this gallery director, and then she introduced me to the publisher. So that was really kind of lucky coincidence.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know we had emailed a little bit before this, but do you have about performances? Is there someone who gave you like the most shocking performance or the most surprising?
Yeah, right. I think one of them. One of them is her. So she's a music teacher in Auckland, I think, in public school. I don't exactly remember if it's like high school or middle school, but I knew that she's kind of musician. She's a music teacher. But then I visited her place, and then we went to her backyard, and then she's all of a sudden, started to sing this opera, the famous opera piece. What is that? Queen of the Night, the Magic Flute. I think everyone kind of can imagine, like I can't really sing, but something like that, right? And then so she sung this so beautifully in her backyard. So I was like, wow. And then I was just trying to chasing her motion and then singing and performance. And so that was amazing.
And I know Jesse's here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in forever. I feel like Jesse might be the only professional musician in your book. Is it true?
Almost, yes.
Jesse, did you want to say anything or sing something? I see you there. I think you're muted. We have to unmute you.
Jesse.
Jesse, you're muted. Can you unmute?
It's okay now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying that I'm so happy to see you guys. It's been a little while. And since this COVID came up, everything's kind of collapsed, but it's a pleasure to see you again.
Yes. So nice to see you again. It's been a while, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years since,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I photographed you 2015, and then maybe I met you a few times after that, but maybe, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But I'm I was so excited to see you guys again and to do last thing. Okay, I'm gonna play one piece for you if you want it.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Let me take my guitar.
Yes. Oh.
I have right here with me, so I could play something a little quick. Papa, why is your papa? Why is so love? Why is so love? Why is your papa? Why is your papa? Why is so love? Yeah, chick was a preachy. Ito kulipusi. Eti kulipusi. Iza kulipusi. Anza Yahweh. Anza Yahweh. Anza Yahweh. Yahweh. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Jesse.
Uh,
Wow, such a beautiful song.
yes, thank you.
I subscribe to YouTube, your YouTube.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone should.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Christina. All right.
Did
So
you write that? Is that an original?
yeah. I mean, since this I sang yesterday to the World Cafe. That's my. I was so happy to because I've been a little while, I didn't sing nowhere, so I was there, and then one guy called me to come to play something in the place. I was so happy. Today's my second again. So I was so eager to come up, do something. The song is this song is for the movie. This movie they trying to put together, and they asked me to make some song for the movie. So that's the song for the it's a track for the movies.
Uh-huh. I see.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
There's another question here in the chat. Hiroyo, do you also have a video recording of their performances while you were photographing?
Did I do the video recording? No, actually. One I asked one time to record my shooting, and so I have one, but that's it. And I didn't continue. But that was really interesting, and I have it. So yeah, it's in YouTube as well, a little bit.
Hey, Jesse, there's a question for you. What movie? Oh, you're muted again.
The movie is in preparation in Africa. And they didn't it didn't come up yet, but it's a movie about a young guy who has his mother was detained by a richest man in the village. She was accused for something that she didn't do, and she had an only son who trying to fight to make this happen. You know, to liberate her mother. So the guy asked me to do a song we should go with the image. It was song that I made. Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you.
That was
See
really
you.
wonderful. Good to see you. It's been way too long.
I know.
There's a little random question here from Meg. Do you know Yamagishi Naoko?
No, I don't think so. Is she? No, I don't think so. Meg?
Nope. Oh, you know, she's a photographer she's my old roommate from Tokyo. She works for the Yomiuri Shimbun. And she's the first camera woman. Works for a newspaper, but she's also quite creative. Anyway, when you were talking about your connections, I thought, it just popped into my head.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It might happen in the future because it's word.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Sure.
Grace wants to know, do you have any advice for future photographers or college students studying photography?
Advice? I think continuation is the most important things for artists. I mean, any artist, I think. Because I've been doing this for 9 years already. And yeah, but it was doing it. And then I met many people, and then, you know, I could create this, my kind of community. And it's really like my own journey, you know, to getting into the community in here in the Bay Area, and also the person who actually, you know, brought me to know. So it's really interesting experience, you know, for both of my, you know, artistic career, also my personal path in my life.
Marcia wants to know, what is your next project?
Wow, that's great questions. Actually, you know what, I've been trying to, I mean, under this situation, it's a little bit slow. It becomes so slow, but I'm just about to get involved art project with the you know, the farming organization in Oakland. Actually, I worked for the similar organization in San Francisco between 16 to 18. And I took some pictures of people, you know, working in a farm and the gardens and, you know, those kind of agricultural activities. And I really liked that project, but somehow, you know, for some reasons, this organization was closed. So since then, I was kind of looking for the similar, you know, the similar organization. And then I found one in Oakland, and then I got access to them right now. So it gonna start probably in April. You know, the more people vaccinated, I think we can, you know, get to access to them. So this is one of my project. And then I also wanted to explore my neighbors actually in this apartment. I live in an apartment in Oakland, and then just so many interesting people living in this apartment. So I kind of want to explore this place.
And are you still shooting color film? Are you still shooting that 6x8 camera?
Yes, I do. I do. I mean, also, although Reiko was closed, so sad, but I found one place that can print negative in Tokyo. So now actually after Reiko, every time I go back to Japan, I go there and then order some prints. It costs a lot of money, but still surviving. So
Do you ever shoot your 4x5 anymore, or is that?
No, well, actually, a couple of years ago, I went back to my really hometown in Tokyo, in Japan, and then I used 4x5. And I think for this farm garden project, I'd probably use 4x5 as well. Yeah, I know it's dying, but I want to continue.
Carrie has a comment. Carrie.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah.
Hi, well, I just wanted to say congrats, Hiroyo, on the book, actually, like, you know, coming full circle. And I just wanted to comment that through Ann, the great connector, I got to take a small workshop with Hiroyo at Reiko with McNair Evans, and you were still in the middle of your project, and I think going through your contact sheets and trying to figure out an order and sort of give shape to the series. And two of the things that stand out from that experience were one, that I can't wait to see the actual book and how it looks, but it was that you were able to express like all these different kind of tones of expression that you had felt through the photos, through the portraits of others in their like various moments of expression while singing. And so it always stuck in my mind that was like a really beautiful sentiment to sort of like show parts of your experience through those portraits. And then the other thing that stuck in my mind, which I thought was a great idea by McNair, was in thinking about sequencing whatever the grouping you had shown, was to think about them as notes. And so if you think about a sequence, sort of like what that melody or rhythm would be from picture to picture. So I just wanted to add that because it was like, it's a nice memory of your project that stuck with me. And then I really look forward to seeing the final incarnation of it in the book. So congrats again.
Thank you, Kari. Yeah, I remember the workshop really well too. That was really precious experience for me too. I mean, of course, Kari and McNair, gave me a lot of important suggestion and advices. And then, as Kari mentioned, that he somehow, not only him, but everyone there kind of like made me think about what the emotions floating from one after another within a sequence. So that actually, that moment has actually coincide with the making contact sheets and all those things happen at the same time. But at that time was really, my breakthrough point. And without those, people's help, I don't think I could make it happen. So I really am grateful for everyone to support me. Thank you, Kari.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm so happy that it's finally a book because I feel like I was there when it was, you gave birth to it. And then I really do want to say I'm so proud of you for your perseverance because, I know it wasn't easy to just keep going despite like not quite sure what direction to go and how it was shaping up. And so I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
And did you do the sequencing in the book or did your publisher, or did you work together on the sequencing? Like, how did Ari get to be first? It is it's one of my favorite portraits, actually.
Which one, sorry, which one?
The picture of Ari.
Oh, yes.
I paid her to go first. I bribed her.
Yeah, everyone likes his portrait. So actually, when I had a show at Nikon Gallery, they chose his portrait as a poster and as a card and sign in front of the galleries and all those press, So your face was actually your picture actually, went around on the newspapers and magazines. And the question was, no, actually the publisher, the editor neither editor or designer said anything about sequence. So I did it. They didn't say, they actually said, this is your work, this is your part. And they didn't say anything.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but this is first time for me, so I didn't know how, the publication goes. So I kind of expecting they would help me to edit and then select, edit and then sequencing. But somehow this designer, he was really awesome. He was beautiful. He did beautiful design for me with 3 different colors. But yeah, he didn't say anything about sequence.
I like that there's 3 different book cover colors and 3 different colored pages in between. Like the essay pages are on that gray paper, and then the essays are in Japanese and in English, which is fantastic. And Lisa Sutcliffe also wrote an essay, which is, I know she's been so supportive of your work as well.
Yeah.
I tried to get her here tonight.
Yeah, but she couldn't.
She's in Maine, so she's even further east.
Right. Maybe she's in the midnight.
Does anyone else have any more questions for Hiroyo or for our performers, or want to hear any more? Does anyone want to hear Chris Barnett sing, or need something framed from Sterling Framers?
Oh, yes.
He's the best framer.
Yes, it is, for sure.
Yeah, Carrie Orbick says she wants you to sing, Chris.
So voices, this is total out of my comfort zone again. I've never sung to people over the internet, and I could either sing the song that I sang for Hiroyo in the alley that day. I also have I thought about this. I wore this in honor of Patti Smith, who I love. People Have the Power. That's a song you need to be kind of in a crowd of people singing together. Although I highly recommend looking up on YouTube. She spoke at kind of as part of a talk at Riverside Church in New York City a handful of years ago, and I found it very moving. And that song, People Have the Power, being translated into her as spoken word was really quite moving. So you should look that up on YouTube. I have a really dear niece who I love very much, who lives in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I'll give her a little plug because she does every other Tuesday, and she was on today. She hosts a 2-hour radio program called Eclectic Woman. So they're all female performers, female musicians. And the radio station is WTJU in Charlottesville, Virginia. And it's a great as so many wonderful public radio stations are, it's a great station. But I listened to her this morning, and she knows that I really like this song by Casey Musgraves, who I kind of blanched to think about singing this because she sings it so beautifully, and I feel like instrumental background is so important in singing. But oh, what a world. So let's do that one. Northern Lights, let's see. Northern Lights in our skies, plants that grow and open our minds, things that swim with a neon glow. Where we come from, no one knows, but these are real things. These are real things, oh, what a world. Don't wanna leave. All kinds of magic around us. It's hard to believe. Thank God it's not too good to be true. Oh, what a world. And then there is you. Did I know you once in another life? Are we here just once, or a billion times. Well, I wish I knew, but it doesn't matter. 'Cause we're here right now, and I know what I feel, and these are real things. These are real things. Oh, what a world. I don't wanna leave. All kind of magic all around us. It's hard to believe. Thank God it's not. Tell me it's not too good to be true. Oh, what a world. And then there is you. I know there's more to the song, but I'm gonna blank on it. It's a beautiful song. If you don't know her work, that song alone is worth looking her up for. It's a gorgeous piece of music.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That was great.
Thank you, Chris.
It was really beautiful. You're so brave. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thank you for doing this, Chris.
I'd have to drink like 5 more glasses of wine to get on this train, but no, we don't have time for that. And it wouldn't be anywhere near as good.
Now, anybody else want to sing? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, does
Somebody-
anyone else want to sing before? There's getting a lot of wonderful comments here. Anyone else want to just break into song? Oh, let's see. Carrie wants to know, does anyone have a birthday? We could sing.
No. Somebody.
All right, well, are there any more questions for Hiroyo? Chris, you really thank you for that. Jesse, thank you for performing. Ari turned his screen off. Ari's like ducking out. Oh, he's back. Ari's thinking about it. He's going into his performance space.
Oh, is he doing something?
Ari, are you gonna sing? He's just teasing us.
No, I could sing with the audio off. That would actually be on theme and a little easier on your ears.
Oh, there's music coming from somewhere.
Mm.
All right, well, any more questions for Hiroyo? I think it might be a wrap. Everyone, don't forget to get your copy. I know Christina posted it in the chat, but maybe you could share it with like the 100 people that signed up. You could share the book link. Do people get to pick their color cover? Red, yellow, gray?
No, actually, well, if I think so. I mean, on the bookstore online store. I mean, book online store. It says like the jacket color may vary, but if you email them like specific color that you want to, then I think he can manage that. He can.
I just purchased it online. I think I was able to choose red.
Oh
Either
yeah,
it's red
now,
or yellow. Yeah.
I mean, there are 2 available right now, but I have some gray also. So if
I see.
I have gray. I mean, it's almost white, but it's kind of very pale gray, and then red, and then yellow. So if you have any preference, then just let him know. The Patrick, the green arcade. I think he would be able to manage that. So, yes. Oh, let's see.
Last song, if it's possible.
Sure.
Could you hear me? Thank you. I'm out. Thank you.
Jesse. Thank you.
Jesse. Thank you so much. I'm moved. Wow.
Good to you guys.
Bye. See you. You got my book? Did
Yeah,
you receive? Yeah. Good.
I showed to everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
My friend and brother, called his Kirk. He saw the book too. He's calling me, oh Jesse, I saw your picture in the book. I saw your picture in the book. He sent me email. Yeah. Okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jesse. Thank you,
Bye,
Jesse.
Jesse.
That was beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jesse. I'm going to say a few words before we wrap up for the evening. Yeah, thank you, Jesse, so much. Thank you, Hiroyo and Ann and everyone. I think I'm going to put it in gallery view so we can all see each other again. This was such a wonderful space to share with everyone this evening. It was so intimate and nice to hear people singing and sharing their experiences, and for everyone who is asking questions. This was a real treat, so thank you. And before we leave, I just want to let you guys know about upcoming events at Camerawork. So I'm going to drop a link in the chat to our upcoming events. But next week, we have the second part of our Artist Toolkit series, which is sharing resources for artists. So we have Laura Poppity from the Center for Cultural Innovation will be joining us and talking about the grant writing process and opportunities that they have at CCI for artists right now. So that'll be Wednesday night, same time, 6 to 7:30, and a really great opportunity to just learn more about different grants that are open right now and that are closing soon. And then we have a bunch of critiques upcoming. They're filling up fast, so if you want to get in on critique, please email me. I think April and May is already full, but we've got critique slots open for June with Mark Merman. And then we're going to have the wonderful Sarah Christensen with us in July. And I think you guys are the first to know about that because it's not even on the website yet. So that'll be July 20th. But yeah, please stay tuned for all of our upcoming events. And then also SF Camwork's a member-based organization. So if you aren't a member, please consider joining and becoming one. And thank you all again so much for being here. And thank you, Hiroyo. That was really special.
Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Anne, Chris, Jesse, and Michelle, SF Camerawork. Thank you for having me tonight, giving me this great opportunity to talk about my work and then meeting with all those people. It's a wonderful night. Thank you.
Get the book.
Get a book.
Everyone buy the book. You'll sign it, right? You'll meet us on a street corner. No one has to sing. Fine. Thank you, Hiroyo. My speaker's kind of going, so it's a little Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
We're gonna say good night.
Good night.
Goodbye. Oh. Bye, Hiroyo. Oh, Jesse disappeared. That was so special. That was so nice.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so nice.
Thank you again,
Thank you,
Hiroyo. Thank you,
everyone.
Chris.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
that was
Chris.
great. Thank you.